Everyone, my name is Kieran. Welcome back to another Manchester United transfer stream on the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about Bruno Fernandes, as you can tell by the title. Before we get into that, make sure you do leave a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What you think about Bruno Fernandes potentially joining Manchester United, and the reports that his move to United is edging ever closer. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat and the comment section below, and thank you very much for watching this if you are watching this as a video. Please do stick around for the very end. We've got lots of stuff to cover, so it's going to be a very interesting one. But welcome to everyone who is joining us on the stream, and if you do watch live, thank you very much, really do appreciate it. But we're going to get straight into the Bruno Fernandes rumours now. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot about Bruno Fernandes on Twitter right now, on social media in general. Talks about Bruno Fernandes' move to United, hotting up a bit. So that's why I wanted to do a bit of a video on him. I haven't really done a video on Bruno Fernandes and the transfer saga that's surrounding Bruno Fernandes for the last, 2 weeks maybe. So I wanted to cover him again. Welcome to Patrick and welcome to TTX. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it, guys. He says, Edward Wood, 17 days left in the transfer window. Yep, he's got to get a move on. 17 days left, nearly only 2 weeks to go. How much business realistically can we get done in the next 17 days? I think probably 2 signings is probably the most we're going to hope for, and that's being hopeful, to be honest with you. Welcome, Krishna. Thanks for joining. Really do appreciate it. So we're going to get into the Bruno Fernandes news, and the news is that Bruno Fernandes, in an interview recently, has stated that he would like a move to the Premier League. Now, you guys might be thinking, well, Kieran, that is something that all of us probably knew already. We already knew that Bruno Fernandes, wanted a new challenge from Sporting Lisbon, especially when you've got clubs like Liverpool, Manchester United knocking at your door. You're going to be interested, and he definitely is interested, and he says that he wants a move to the Premier League, but he did say whether that's this summer transfer window or the next summer transfer window, it depends. It's up to the club. So that doesn't really fill me with too much hope. The fact that he's not really pushing a move this summer suggests that potentially he's willing to wait until next summer. So obviously, if we did get Bruno Fernandes next summer, I wouldn't be too fussed. But in my opinion, with the midfield we've got right now, we do need at least one more midfield reinforcement to really kind of, fill that midfield with quality players. And Bruno Fernandes himself looks a quality player. So that's what he stated in the interview recently. That was kind of the real update to this story. In terms of bids and things like that, there haven't really been many kind of escalations in terms of that. No more bids have been sent by Manchester United. And remember, guys, there is a clause in Bruno Fernandes' contract which says if Sporting Lisbon reject a bid from any club, not just Manchester United, from any club, then Sporting Lisbon have to pay Bruno Fernandes £4 million in compensation. So they're not going to want to do that. So I feel like either first or second bid that is submitted for Bruno Fernandes is probably going to be accepted. Welcome to Killer Kalachi Gaming. Thanks for joining, and welcome Daryl. Thanks for joining as well. A few of your comments says, Patrick says, any substance to the Bell rumour. That is a very interesting one. We're going to talk about that in just a second. That's a very interesting one. Lots of developments in the Gareth Bell story in the last few days. Jeez. TTX says, I keep messing with prices regarding Bruno Maguire. Board is a joke for keeping money and not spending. Totally agree. United as well have moved down to 6th in terms of worldwide sports clubs. In terms of on the rich list almost of the worldwide sports clubs, franchises or something like that. 6th is still pretty high. It's the highest Premier League club, but it's not as high as we used to be. I think we've dropped about 200 million in terms of kind of well, not revenue but wealth and yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, it's hot today. I'm blaming it on the heat. Killer Cloudsy says 17. That's about as many brain cells as Woodward had. Yeah, couldn't agree more, mate. Christian says Man United a bid on Milinkovic-Savic. 75 million. It's nearly done. That's another one we can talk about. It's a very interesting one. Milinkovic-Savic rumours. We did cover it on the channel before, but it does seem like that one might be coming forward as well. Maybe they're not. The Bruno Fernandes deal stalling is pushing United to want to go for Milinkovic-Savic, or potentially to smokescreen to try and make Sporting Lisbon, make their move. TTX says Bruno wants the move, Sporting wants the move, Ole wants it. It all relies on the board spending the cash. Yep, and when it relies on the board, we're absolutely screwed. But hopefully they can, it seems like they can't mess this up. It seems like surely the player wants the move. We've got the money to do the move, and Ole wants the move. Surely we can't mess this up. But who knows? Welcome Dazza. Well, by the way, make sure you check out Daryl's channel. A link in the description down below as well. Welcome Tech, on the stream, mate. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. I totally agree. Says lol, I've lost count of how many players United are linked with. It's confusing. It is. It's so. I mean, mate, I swear it must have been 40 players over a transfer window. But to be honest with you, we're used to it. We are so used to it. I mean, obviously it's great because I can make videos for you guys and give my opinion on them. But it gets a bit tiring after a while, especially in this heat today. Jeez, it's about 34, 35 degrees today. Patrick says, haven't seen much of Fernandes. Is he more like a Lampard or is he another Anderson? I hope he's more of a Lampard, to be honest with you. Anderson, you know what? Actually, he was fun to watch, even though he was a bit of a donkey. But ultimately, I hope he's more of a Lampard. Techman can tell you how good Lampard is, resident Chelsea fan. But yeah, Fernandes, I'm hoping he's more like a Lampard. I've heard he's a lot more like the box-to-box midfielder. I mean, he scored, about 30-something goals in 50 games last season in all competitions for Sporting Lisbon. That's not bad for a midfielder, you've got to say. So, I feel like he is more of a box-to-box and he would be able to pose us a bit of an attacking threat in that midfield and add to it, because I feel like Pogba in our midfield is really on his own in terms of the attacking flair player. So if he's got someone next to him who can do a similar job, who can help him out in the attack, we could be looking good. Welcome to Barry. Thanks for joining, Barry Thorpe. Really appreciate it. He says the reason they have dropped is because the Glazers are taking the money. I think you could be right there, Barry. I think you could be right there, mate. And you know what? If it serves them right, they're taking the money out of the club. They don't deserve to be in the top four. Don't deserve to be in that top spot in terms of wealth and I can't think of the word now, but it'll come to me. But you know what I mean. So that's their fault. TTX says, I don't see us getting more than 2 players max. Totally agree. I think 17 days, unless there's deals that are in the pipeline that we don't know about, I think 2 players is probably the maximum we can hope for. And to be honest with you guys, I like to be a glass half full kind of guy, but I'm glass half empty on the transfers right now. I feel like if we get 1, that'll be a bonus for me. Tech says, what's the latest with the Maggie deal? Well, Harry Maguire, I'm not sure if Harry Maguire is playing against Cambridge United in a pre-season friendly right now. I know that Leicester are playing. I'm not sure if Harry Maguire is playing. If he is playing, then, I'm not sure where that leaves the deal. But Harry Maguire, obviously in the last few days there's been some developments. We did the video on it a few days ago. But it seems like as of right now, nothing's changed since I did the video about it. And it seems like, Harry Maguire wants to move. United could potentially do the move. But we still haven't offered the money that's required. And until we've, offered the money that's required, nothing's going to happen. Leicester are not in a rush to sell Maguire, of course. He's probably one of their best players, so why would they want to sell him? So I think Harry Maguire, ultimately, this deal relies on United putting the money forward that Leicester want, because Leicester are not going to accept anything under £80 million. I was going to say £75 million, but I think £80 million is what they're looking for, which would be a world record for a defender. And obviously Leicester would then be able to reinvest that money elsewhere, and everyone will be a winner. But it doesn't look like Ed Woodward wants to put £80 million on the table for Harry Maguire. And I say, look, I don't think Harry Maguire realistically is worth £80 million. But in this market, you have to pay the money and ask questions later. And we desperately need a defender. There's no doubt about that. We've needed a world-class centre-back partnership for the last kind of 5-6 years. Since Rio Ferdinand and Vidic left, we haven't had a solid partnership. So that's what we need. And with Lindelof there, who's looking really, really strong, bring in Maguire. That is a really, really nice partnership. So for me, pay the money, ask questions later. But I've got a very interesting question after I read a few of the comments out. I've got an interesting question for you guys to answer, so stay tuned for that. Krishna says, kick wood without Man United. If you want to help, call Sergio Ramos and Pepe. They're good at it, perfectionists. I know, I mean, I wish they could do that job. But yeah, I don't see Ed Woodward leaving Manchester United anytime soon, especially in the position that he's in, unfortunately. Patrick says, Kieran, can I get a shout out if it's okay? Uploaded my first video, top 20 Man United all-time goal scorers. More to come. Well, yeah, make sure you do check out 20 Sports. I think that's a channel. Go check out 20 Sports, obviously right there in the live chat. I wasn't able to get link in the description, but I definitely will put you in the description next time. Obviously now I know you've got a channel. So yeah, it's cool. Welcome to the YouTube scene. But yeah, go check out that video. I'll definitely be checking that out after the live stream, so make sure you do check that one out. I'm looking forward to it, actually. Top 20 Man United all-time goal scorers. Gonna be interesting. Also, welcome to Football Fan 148. Don't worry, mate, you're never late on this channel. As you guys all know, you can never be late to one of these streams, because to be honest with you, it's not like you clock in and clock out. So, welcome Nick as well. Nick Muller, thanks for joining as well. Let's read a few more of your comments. Daniel says, any calls at all? I may be taking calls in kind of, 5-10 minutes time, so stay tuned for that. Barry says, 17 days, easy 5 signings, and Maguire now playing. Harry Maguire is playing. Oh, you guys let me know. Cheers for letting me know, guys. Harry Maguire is playing against Cambridge United. I mean, to be fair, it's only down the road. I probably could have gone see that game and done a bit of scouting for the channel, upload a bit of a scout report on Harry Maguire. But yeah, no. That's a bit annoying, but at least he'll be fit if he does join United, which is good. Hopefully no injuries. So yeah, obviously that might stall the move a bit if he's still kind of taking part in Leicester's pre-season training. So yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with that. Yeah, TTX is Harry Maguire's playing today. Techman says Maggie was playing for Leicester today. Wow, that means the deal is way off. I mean, you could be right. You could be right. Hopefully there's something going on behind the scenes. I would hope so, but it's Man United we're talking about, so I doubt it. Nick says, welcome to the YouTube. Well, welcome. Killer Clancy says, Maguire played the second half. Doesn't sound like a deal is imminent. If he played a whole half of football for Leicester, I mean, it could just be that he's being, a decent lad. He's not trying to force the move like Griezmann or other players. He's being a decent guy, still fulfilling his contract for Leicester, because let's not forget, he's still got a contractual obligation to be at Leicester's pre-season and to take part in Leicester's pre-season as well. So he's doing I guess he's doing an alright thing. I mean, you can't knock him for that anyway. Welcome Fergie United, thanks for joining, mate, really appreciate it. Make sure to check out his channel, really good videos on there as well, so make sure you check out Fergie United. Obviously he's in the live chat right there, so make sure you do check him out. Really good Manchester United transfer content and general Man United content as well. Really good stuff. Christian says, please don't go for Harry Maguire. Man United for 80 million. United can go for Italian defender like Demiral and sell Sanchez. You can save money. Well, if you're on the board, to be honest with you, I'd probably support that, but I haven't seen too much of Demiral. You guys can let me know what you think of him. But I did remember I was going to ask you that question. Obviously Harry Maguire is worth £80 million. Realistically, if we bring in Maguire for £80 million, would we realistically, be able to bring in any more signings? I don't think so. So here's my question to you. Would you bring in Harry Maguire for £80 million if it meant that we didn't sign anyone else? Or would you bin off the Maguire deal, get somebody in who's a bit less expensive, and bring in Bruno Fernandes? Let me know your thoughts. So either Maguire for 80 million, but then we don't bring in anyone else, or maybe a cheaper alternative like an Arda Vareld or someone like that, and we bring in Bruno Fernandes. Let me know your thoughts on that, because I think that's a really interesting question. Would you rather 2 players who might not be in the positions? Well, technically you'd be bringing in a centre-back, but it'd be a bit of a cheaper option. Or would you go all out for Maguire? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll let you know mine after you guys. You guys first. Anyway, Killer Cloudy says, heat affected my brain. That was the other day. Of course, yeah. Yeah. I mean, The heat is affecting me right now. I'll tell you what, if I do sound like I'm drunk, I'm not actually drunk. The heat is affecting me now. Although I wish I was on some beach partying, but I'm not. But I'm with you guys, of course, which is always a blast. TTX says Maguire not worth 80 million, but you have to pay anything just to make sure Jones doesn't play again. You've got a point. You've got a point. Nick says we play Cambridge on Saturday, easy win. Yeah, mate, we'll see. We'll see. They bought a few players, you know. They bought a few players. Dazza says Borough just beat Salford. Well, you know, I mean, Salford is, it's a very controversial club, Salford. The fact they basically bought their way up from the National League, I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're going to be popular in League 2, but we'll see what happens with that. Patrick says, I read somewhere that it's the first and last time Leicester will get 8 million for a player. Probably right, you're probably right. Tech says, football is a cutthroat business. If Maggie wants to go to United, he should hand in a transfer request. What if he gets injured tonight? Nice guys finish last. That's an interesting one. To be fair, you could be right, because let's say he doesn't hand in a transfer request and we go for somebody else and he doesn't get that move and he stays at Leicester for the next kind of, 5 or 6 years of his career, and then the good times pass and he's suddenly kind of washed up. It's a good point, It's a good point. And, Maybe if he doesn't come this year and he sees the opportunity next year, he might think about forcing the move. But we'll see what happens. But I think that is a good point. Footballers' careers don't last forever, and they're not at their peak forever as well. He's still only 26, so he's probably still got a few years until he reaches his prime. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think that's a good point. Christian says Mason Greenwood, wonder kid. Whenever Man United in trouble, call Agent Greenwood. He's been brilliant in pre-season, to be fair to him. Hopefully he does get some appearances in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, even the Premier League as well. That'd be cool. TTX says he would bring in Toby for 25 million and Bruno for 60. So TTX would go with the first option of not bringing in Harry Maguire, going for 2 players. Dazza would go with bringing Maguire, only Maguire, and not bring in 2 players like Fernandes or another centre-back. So Dazza wants to go all out on Maguire, so we're 1-1 at the moment. Tech says Toby Alderweireld would be a quality option for United, and he's a lot cheaper. Yes, he's a few years older, but he is a lot cheaper. Apparently, it would only be for about 25 million. Of course, when United come calling, they're always going to slap another 10 million on the price, but Toby Alderweireld to United, 25 million. I don't think you can go wrong. Patrick says if we get Maguire for 80 million, then Ollie obviously believes that he's the last piece of his defensive puzzle. I hope so, because to be fair, with Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Victor Lindelof, and Harry Maguire in that back 4, I think we've got a decent defence. I think we've got a decent defence. So, that might be the first decent defence we've had in a while as well. So we'll see what happens with this. I'm hoping it can be done, but obviously, as I asked you guys to question, I think we've got more people saying go with 2 than all out on Maguire. You're saying spread the money out. Then you rather spread the money out on 2 players than go all out on Harry Maguire. I see what you're saying. Killer Clutchy says he's actually started tonight, which is worse. They wouldn't risk injuring him if the deal was close, surely. You could be right. Actually, it's a good point. Killer Clutchy. Christian says defender Man United can sign options. Regani, Demiral, and Umtiti. Umtiti is someone I've heard. That rings a bell, Umtiti. Barca has priced 54 million for him. It's an interesting one. I think, was it last summer? I definitely did this heat is getting to my head. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll get my words out eventually. I did a video on Umtiti. I think it was last summer or either in January. So Umtiti's definitely been linked to Manchester United before. So, well, you never know. If this Maguire deal stalls, which is looking like it is, we might have to move on to other targets. Welcome, Rodney. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it as always. Make sure you do check out Rodney's channel in the link in the description down below. Really, really good stuff. He says, even all, are we still talking about Harry Maguire? Bloody hell, is Ed Woodward still on holiday? I know. I don't know what he's doing right now. Probably on a beach somewhere, pina coladas, all that jazz probably. I had no idea what he's doing. To be fair though, he's probably on holiday 24/7. You know, let's be honest. I mean, unless he's, you know, in London, you know, looking for the next wine sponsor or the next jeans sponsor. I mean, I'm sorry, I have to stop on that. Why do Man United have a jeans sponsor? Why? I mean, anyway, there's too many things to discuss. We're on to transfers at the moment. Maybe we can do a sponsor video in another video. Yeah, but it blows my mind. Jeans. I mean, that's ridiculous. Anyway, we're going to move on. Techman said if United are in for a midfielder, they can feel free to take Bakayoko off us. Make you laugh, but we have been linked with Bakayoko in this transfer window. So stranger things have happened. TTX says we get ripped off for players by other clubs because they know we overpay for players and have an incompetent board. You said it, mate. You said it yourself. I literally cannot add to that. Checkman says Chelsea ran rings around him earlier today. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. You know, fair play. I mean, Tammy Abraham's goal was a bit fluky, to be fair. I have to say that, but he took it well. Frank Lampard, is that his first win on tour? I mean, he couldn't even beat Bohemians, for goodness sake. But, you know, yeah, fair play to Chelsea. Obviously, we meet them. I think it's on the 8th of August, is it? It's sometime around there. We meet Chelsea. It's going to be a big one. The 11th of August, I think, sorry. The 11th of August. We meet Chelsea. That's going to be huge. Huge. Patrick says, wait, we're being linked to titties now, but I misheard. Oh, gosh. Oh, well. It happens to the best of us. But I'm going to talk a bit about Gareth Bale. I saw someone a bit up there, mention Gareth Bale, and of course the developments on the Gareth Bale story seem to be that Zidane doesn't want him. Gareth Bale been thrown on the scrap heap outside of the Real Madrid training ground. He's just kind of lingering there, waiting for a taxi. And who knows where that taxi's going? It might have £1 million in the taxi a week to go to China. I mean, what a way to throw your footballing career away, eh? Why would he need 100 million a week? Like, I mean, I personally don't understand it. Like, I understand you want to provide for your family, but he's already absolutely minted, I'm sure of it. Why would you want to go to China? And yeah, obviously, it's great to see a new culture, earn £1 million a week, but I don't know, for your footballing career, I don't understand it. But it does seem like China's probably the most probable option for Gareth Bale. Although Manchester United have been linked with Gareth Bale. Now, I know this transfer rumour coming back. I mean, I'm sure you guys who've, long gone through the social media mill of Manchester United transfers over the last 3 or 4 years will be sick with the You'll just be sick with me saying Gareth Bale's name linked with Manchester United. He's been linked with Manchester United since 2013. So it seems like this rumour never goes away. I'm sorry for bringing it back up, but I have to. It's a bit of a talking point. Gareth Bale, for me, wouldn't really fit into the plan we seem to be building. I feel like we'd be shoehorning him in. We'd be shoehorning him in when he doesn't really fit in. And yes, I think he's got quality. There's no doubt you have quality if you play for Real Madrid. You've got quality. If you've won 4 Champions League medals, you're not going to be, a slouch. So he's got quality, but I don't see him fitting in. And also, Real Madrid are not going to accept a loan move. So we're going to have to pay the big bucks for him. And realistically, I'd rather spend that money on positions that we really need, like, defence and central midfield. We do kind of need a winger, but at this moment in time, I don't think it's one of the positions that we need to be going for straight away, if you know what I mean. But let me know your thoughts on Gareth Bale. Techman says Lampard's first bit of silverware already. Happy days. Fair play to him. Already won more than Ole at Manchester United. Already won more than Pochettino as well, so you can have that. But yeah, fair play to him. Nick says Bale made his money, now can come back home. Interesting point. Patrick says it'll make me very happy if we land Bale, whatever people say. Patrick says he wants Bale. Interesting point, interesting one. I think Bale's got quality, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure whether he'd fit the style. I'm not sure. Christian says, is Bale coming? What about Daniel James? Exactly. I mean, look, I don't see Man United buying 2 players in the same position when realistically we need to sign players in a few different positions. So why do we always, focus on one position and then buy 2 players for it? I don't understand that. TTX says we also have alcohol sponsor called Casillero del Diablo. No wonder why Jones is clumsy every time he plays. That's a good one. I know. I mean, it's mental, but maybe that's why we're 6th in everything, including our value. That's it, value. Our value in terms of sponsorships and all that. We're 6th on the list. We've dropped down, but to be honest with you, with the state we're currently in, 6th is quite apt for Manchester United. Patrick says he's on another level. The thing is, he can easily be the best player in the league in England. If he carries on the form he had at Spurs, I think you could be right. Gee, I'm sweating buckets here, lads. Killer Clatchy says Woodward, someone said, was on holiday. Probably why he's taking too long to pay for the airfare, so he's swimming back. Mate, I mean, to be fair, a lot of United fans wouldn't even mind that. Wouldn't even mind seeing. I'm not going to say it's a bit harsh, but something bad connected with swimming. Make your own mind up. Chris says if Bale comes injury. That's the thing. He is definitely injury prone, and that is one thing to look out for with Bale. Football Crucial says he cannot see Bruno Fernandes joining Manchester United. Well, as the transfer window progressed day by day, I don't see it either. Chris says, bro, your suggestions regarding Lingard. Well, Jesse Lingard, of course, hasn't really been having the best of pre-seasons. I would hope he comes good, but I think if he doesn't start performing, a lot of United fans are going to get onto his back, and he might start to, see sort of the, receive some of the same treatment that Ashley Young received, where he was being booed Ashley Young was being booed actually on pre-season, which I thought was a bit harsh. I mean, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Ashley Young would deserve to be booed on pre-season? Of course, during the Inter Milan game, Ashley Young was booed every time he touched the ball, which, I mean, I personally don't agree with. Like, yes, I've got my reservations with Ashley Young, as does probably most of you in this chat right now do. But booing him, I don't agree with that at all. Especially booing your own player. I mean, it was like what happened when we started booing Marouane Fellaini that time, if you guys remember. It's just not right. It just doesn't sit well with me. Patrick says, never seen you take a sip of water or anything. You should do that. Well, I've got this here, but there's no water in it. So, I wish there was water in it, though. I would go get water, but there's no point, is there? Football Crucial says, your thoughts on De Gea as captain? I'd be happy with that. He's been our best serving player. I've got to say, our most consistent player over the last 4, 5, 6 years. I'd be up for giving the captain. I think there have been some very successful goalkeeper captains down the year. Buffon, Casillas, Petr Cech as well. So I'd be open to it. I would be open to it. So if we did see it, yeah, I'd be open to it. Guys, I was going to open Skype, and I think we'll try opening Skype. We'll see if it works, because my phone is out of charge, and usually I'd use my phone. So I'm going to try and open Skype on the laptop. Hopefully there won't be any lag or anything like that. But whilst I'm doing this, just mind your own. Just talk amongst yourselves. Setup was on okay, retry. Anyway, right, hopefully this works anyway. TTX says, Ash Young deserves it, to be honest. Couldn't care less. He should be in a retirement home right now, not now doing Croy turns. Savage from TTX, savage. But that's your opinion, fair play. I mean, obviously, I do agree with you that he probably should have gone a long time ago, but he's here to stay. He's here to stay. But yeah, Daryl, I'm just firing up the Skype right now. In fact, it should be open any second now. So if you do want to call in, please do feel free to do so. Just waiting for it to load. Hopefully don't have to put in a username and password, because I've forgotten it. So that'd be awkward. Nick says, if Bell don't play for you, he maybe play against you. Well, we're not in the Champions League, so that's not going to happen. Unless, obviously, he signs for another Premier League club. Some talk about him going to Liverpool, and that would be a nightmare. Christian says Pogba would be captain for Man United, so we can concentrate on Man United this season and stay away from transfers. Maybe that's the best thing, although we tried Pogba at captain, and to be honest with you, wasn't that impressive. He was captain against, Spurs, against Brighton. Average. Daryl, you can call in, mate, or anyone who wants to call in, please feel free to do so. We're taking calls now. And speak of the man himself. Right. Last time I was using my phone. This time I'm using the computer. So obviously, if the stream does start to do some weird things, I do apologise. Hopefully, it'll stay all right for you guys. I can see. My face is lagging a bit, but hopefully it sorts itself out. And as long as you can hear me, it should be all right. Anyway. But Daryl, thanks for joining, mate. As always, really appreciate it. How are you doing on this very, very hot summer's evening? Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking. Obviously, when I do it from the computer, obviously it does kind of have a bit of an effect, but. Hopefully you guys can still hear me, and as long as you can hear Daryl and everything like that, it should be alright. But, Daryl, first thing I want to ask you, of course, is about Bruno Fernandes, the main topic of the stream. First of all, what do you think of the development? Bruno Fernandes, recent interview, saying he would like a move to the Premier League. What are your thoughts on that?
If he did move to the Premier League. But as I said before, I don't see it happening. Because obviously Sporting Lisbon wanted about 90 million, and that's practically the same price for Harry Maguire. I think if we got both of them, we're looking at about 160, 170 million, which is a hefty chunk out of the United budget for two players. It's quite a lot of money to pay. And I think you'd probably be better off only getting one. That's why I said I'd rather go for Maguire than go for Fernandes. Because if you look at the centre attacking mid spots, you've got Mata, who can play as a centre attacking mid. You've also got Fred, who I said should mainly be playing in centre attacking mid anyway. You've got at least one or two centre attacking mids who can actually play. And I think Phil Jones isn't on the line, tech man. But the thing with Fernandes is he's got the talent in him. He's a fantastic player. But would he suit the Premier League? Again, that question is still yet to be answered. We won't know unless he comes to the Premier League at all. And I don't know whether he'll be good enough in the Prem, because it's a totally different ballgame. But if he does come, he'll still hold the fit in at United. However, at the same time, he'll probably know Diogo Dalot a bit because, they both play against each other, both know each other from the Liga NOS. That's really the only player he'd probably know, but I don't think he'd really suit our style of play, in my opinion.
There you go, Daryl. It's obvious that, United have been looking for a central midfielder, but I think, yes, of course, you want to bring in the right player, but I think it's also very important that you bring in players that are going to suit the style of play. I think we've seen this before where we spent big money on players that obviously we needed in certain positions, like Falcao, Di Maria, these sort of players, but they just didn't fit the United system. They didn't fit Manchester United. I think you do need to bring in players who, whilst have quality, are also going to fit in, because if they don't fit in, then what's the point? They're a waste. You may as well get... I'd rather spend less money on players that are going to fit into the style of play and are going to hit the ground running than players who are kind of, it's square pegs and round holes, you know what I mean?
That's been our issue before, though, with the transfer windows. We've signed players... A majority of the players that we've signed, that United have signed, haven't had much Premier League experience, and it backfires. And if you look at the January transfer window, no one was signed. That was mainly because August and Solskjaer was limited to loan signings. But with the summer transfer window, we ended up bringing in Fred, had no experience, and cost us 50 mil. Delors, 20 mil around that price. Yeah. And again, had no Premier League experience. But Delors is actually is actually more beneficial for the squad than Fred. Fred just didn't get the game time. He didn't suit the Premier League. He didn't suit our style of play. And I just think it was mainly down to experience with Fred. I've said this before on one of the other streams. It was all down to experience with Fred. Delors had no experience, but he suits United's style of play and suits the Premier League. So sometimes when you go for players who have no experience, sometimes it can work and sometimes it can badly backfire on you. But on to obviously Maguire. There's a link to Maguire. Maguire has the Premier League experience. I agree. He's nowhere near worth 80 million. But it's because he's English. The English players from the Premier League are always the most expensive. And I've noticed that with Van der Zaka. James obviously was from Swansea, but he played in Wales, played Swansea, he's Welsh. Didn't really cost us that much. 15 million, something like that it cost. And he's a left winger. Though there's times where I believe he's playing at right wing, which is questionable. But I just want to answer Trendy Sports' question there. I don't think we can afford to leave it to deadline day. I think deadline day is just, it's too short notice. And yeah, we'd be panicking to sign players. I agree with what he's just put. But with Maguire, he has the experience. He has the quality. He's a World Cup semi-finalist. And a Nations League semi-finalist, although I don't even think he played. He didn't do that great in the Nations League, so I say. But I think if he did go to United, I think he suits the style of play, and he's got a lot of experience, and that's why he costs so much. Not worth 80 million, worth about 50, 60. But in this day and age, the prices are too high, and there's nothing you can do. And as you said earlier, pay the money, ask questions later.
Yeah, well, I totally go with that. A few people have joined. Welcome, Ricky. Thanks for joining as well. Really appreciate it. As I said, you can't be late on this channel, even if you are 31 minutes late. But it doesn't matter. Obviously, it doesn't matter. Who's counting? But thanks for joining, Ricky, as always. Really appreciate it. Rodney says, thumbs up. Couldn't find the emoji. Rodney. Happens to the best of us. Krishna says, bro, tell me your suggestion regarding Demiral versus Maguire in the next stream. I will do, mate, once I do some more research on Demiral, to be honest with you, because I'm not too familiar with him, but I will do. And he says in India it's 2:20 a.m. That is commitment. Thank you so much for watching at that time. I mean, you can go to bed if you want. Trust me. Don't let me keep you up. But yeah, thank you very much for watching at that time. The heat here probably is similar over there as well. It's absolutely roasting, I can say that right now. Patrick said, can we afford to take the deals to deadline day? I don't think so. Then we panic to sign some players. I think, well, as Daryl says, I'd have to concur. I think if we did, if deadline day deals always seem to be panicked. There's always some that cannot come off, but there's always some that most of them are panic buys. And obviously we got Martial on deadline day, but it's sketchy. Chris says if Leicester allows him 50 million sign, don't go for more. So Chris is saying 50 million for Harry Maguire. I can tell you that right now. If we bid 50 million, they're going to say go away for the polite term. The polite way. They're going to say go away, get lost. Because they want £80 million, and if we don't pay that, we're not going to get Maguire. So maybe we should move on. I don't know. Patrick says the rent is too damn high on transfer fees on deadline day. Oh right, yeah, of course, yeah. And it's bad enough paying all that money, for players mid transfer window, but on deadline day, you're taking a big gamble. And the Football Crew Show on the streamer, thanks for joining as well. He says lamps to be sat by Christmas. Tech, what do you think of that?
I'd be surprised they've just beaten Barcelona.
Yeah. First bit of silverware, always going to be sacked. But it's your prediction,
and
mate.
They got beat by some Japanese team.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, and they could even beat that Irish team as well. But Tech Man, obviously, our resident Chelsea fan as well. That is going to be. Let me know what you think about that. But yeah, it's an interesting prediction. I kind of hope it's right. Because obviously, fair play to Chelsea, but I'm not a huge fan of theirs.
Chelsea is the harshest board in the Premier League.
Oh yeah,
you don't get top 4, you're out.
Exactly. Killer Clatchy says, one football just said Maguire deal's no closer. We should have moved on weeks ago. It's an interesting point. And if we had have moved on, and we might have been able to get someone over the line by now. Ricky says, Chelsea surprisingly beat Barca, but they are managed by Valverde. He's a fraud. Well, there you go.
Mourinho.
I've heard a lot about Valverde, and I've heard a lot of Barcelona fans kind of slag him off. Obviously, after they got beaten by Liverpool 4-0, they are serial bottlers, I've got to say. But Daryl, final thing from you. One thing came up was the Gareth Bale rumours. I think it was Patrick that mentioned Gareth Bale linked to Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts on that quickly. Do you think Gareth Bale will come to United? Do you think there's anything in those rumours, or do you think it's a bunch of baloney?
Who's Patrick?
Oh no, 20 Sports. That's the same. Apparently it's Patrick Jude, but under a different name, I think.
Oh, wait, I know it is. Yes. I wasn't sure. Anyways, I was just looking at Demoral just whilst you were talking there.
Oh yeah.
Bale is a guy who has the talent in the Liga. I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League, in my opinion. And the other thing, the one thing that, makes me really worried about trying to sign him is I don't want him at United. And that's because, no particular reason, but mainly because he's injury prone. He's injury prone, and, if he gets it, because there's no guarantees that he's going to be fit if he does go to United. He'll be, he'll play one game or two games into the season, get injured immediately, and then he's injured for practically most of the season. No offence, Patrick, I didn't know who it was, though. But yeah, everyone makes mistakes. Yeah, but I think Bale would just be too risky. I know. I say he doesn't suit the Premier League. He did it with. I just realised he did it with Spurs. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. I'm getting confused. He did okay at Spurs, but he's getting old now, and I think he wouldn't suit a return to the Premier League, and I don't think he'd suit United's style of play. If he did come to United, he'd be injured practically after 2 games, and then we'd be stuck. So I think it'd be too risky. And if he did come, what would that mean for Jesse Lingard?
Well, that's the thing, Jesse Lingard. We wouldn't be able to see his dances anymore, would we? I mean, that's the main thing, really.